Divorce rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men. Terrible that you would applaud that. What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump. So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing.
Barack Obama always wanted his political career to feel like a legacy performance, a final act on a pristine stage, where the spotlight revealed him as calm, cool, and forever untouchable. But when he collided with Gutfeld's razor-sharp humor, it wasn't a debate, it was demolition. The comparison landed hard. Obama had walked into the arena armed with a water balloon, only to find himself in the middle of a fireworks display. And that's the brilliance of the contrast. Obama has long cultivated the role of America's cool dad, the professor who soothes with words, the performer who times his pauses like a master storyteller. But Gutfeld isn't a politician, he's a satirist. Instead of fighting Obama on the battlefield of polished speeches, he dismantled him with quips that sliced through the glamour.
President Obama took another stand against evil yesterday, lashing out at ISIS, pernicious gang crime and human rights abuses in left-wing dictatorships like Venezuela and Cuba. I was kidding. He went after Fox News.
And Obama lashed out yet again, not at global threats like terrorism or hostile regimes, but at Fox News. Gutfeld couldn't resist pouncing. He reminded viewers that Obama often accused conservatives of demonizing the poor, but never explained why they supposedly did so. The accusation lacked motive, and in Gutfeld's framing, it revealed more about Obama's insecurities than Fox's intentions. While conservatives criticize failed policies that trap the poor in cycles of dependency, Obama twisted that into an attack on poor people themselves. It was a clever deflection, designed to preserve the dignity of his own ideology.
It is a constant menu. They will find, like, folks who make me mad.
It's a way to locate and then demonize the poor. For what reason? So we can kill and eat them? His criticism is absurd because he never suggests a motive. FNC is always focused on policies that keep the poor, not the poor themselves.
But comedy can't be fooled, because beneath Obama's cool presentation lies a contradiction. He marketed himself as a unifier, a visionary, but many of his most championed policies deepened the divides they were meant to heal. Welfare expansion, identity politics, and constant cultural scolding all seem to reinforce resentment instead of progress.
And that's scary to progressives like Obama, who fear that their ideology will be exposed as the culprit behind so much present misery. Identity politics, welfare policies, and the white liberal addiction to social intervention has helped replace enterprise with entitlement. And that has hurt the poor more than street drugs or police brutality.
Gutfeld sliced straight through the rhetoric, showing how those contradictions collapsed the moment the smooth delivery was gone. Think back to Obama's Nobel Peace Prize. Awarded before he'd even settled into the Oval Office, it was like receiving Employee of the Year on your very first day. Yet as years passed, that trophy aged into irony. His foreign policy produced chaos in Libya, devastation in Syria, and drone strikes so numerous they became the soundtrack of his administration. He was supposed to be the peacemaker, yet he often played the role of reluctant warrior.
Vacation of responsibility embraces the toxic retribution of Occupy Wall Street, there goes my tongue, which seeks equality by crushing everyone under one boot. As a class warrior, that's Obama's Common Core.
Gutfeld reminded viewers that this wasn't strategy. It was a performance, an illusion of restraint that masked constant intervention. Domestically, the contradictions piled higher. Obama inherited an economic disaster in 2008 and promised revitalization. Growth eventually returned, but slowly, and not in the way he described. Speeches painted a picture of roaring progress, but the middle class looked around and asked, "Where's the prosperity?" Jobs existed, but wages stagnated. Hope felt distant. It was as if the sales pitch outshone the product itself. Nowhere was this clearer than in his healthcare overhaul. Sold as a flawless historic achievement, Obamacare was meant to be the crown jewel of his presidency.
Obama would take any responsibility if the good times were actually bad times. So it's like when you when somebody comes into work and says, "Oh, that restaurant was amazing. I told you that restaurant was going to be great." But then if they came in and said they had food poisoning, I didn't say it was that good. So people only take credit, they never take responsibility.
Gutfeld compared it to ordering a pizza online, only to find yourself redirected to the DMV. The metaphor hit because it was true. Obamacare promised efficiency but delivered bureaucracy. And yet, despite all of it, Obama's charisma shielded him. His speeches, his cadence, his cultural presence, those kept people entranced. He wasn't just a president, he was a brand. Playlists, book deals, Netflix contracts, all part of the Obama aura. He blurred the line between statesman and celebrity, fist-bumping late-night hosts and releasing March Madness brackets like he was America's pop culture ambassador. But while Obama basked in personal glory, his party crumbled. Democrats lost over 1,000 seats at the local, state, and federal level during his tenure. Gutfeld compared it to a house party that ended in disaster, the host smiling for the cameras while the furniture burned behind him. The contradictions became the core of Gutfeld's takedown.
FNC is critical of such policies. Obama portrays it as critical of people. It's to save his beliefs from the humiliation they so richly deserve. And remember, it wasn't FNC who ginned up class warfare.
I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
We've got to ask the wealthiest Americans and biggest corporations to pay their fair share. This is the land of opportunity. That's great.
Even after leaving office, Obama lingered like a ghost over the Democratic Party. He endorsed candidates, gave speeches, and weighed in on policy debates, still framed as the wise elder statesman. Yet Gutfeld turned that into parody, painting him not as a mentor but as the guy who keeps showing up to college parties after graduation, still bragging about his glory days. Obama's coolness, once untouchable, began to feel outdated, and comedy thrives on that awkwardness. And the irony? Despite his constant presence, Obama often seemed to distance himself from the very people who needed him most. When Joe Biden struggled, Obama stayed in the background, popping up only for self-congratulatory tweets or carefully curated appearances. Gutfeld mocked this dynamic as Obama, ditching his friend at the party, the one you're supposed to support, but instead you quietly sneak away from, leaving them stranded.
So, does this matter?
Well, there's two weird things about this. It's weird Obama's doing this while all this other stuff is going on.
Right.
Like, shouldn't he be helping out Joe?
Right.
Like, he totally ghosts Joe. I always say that he's like the guy, whenever you go to a party with somebody that you don't like and you try to lose them at the party, that's what Obama has done to Joe. He's lost them at the party, and now he's moving on, and then he tweets, and then you find out that he's tweeting about something else while you're at the party. And it's just, I think it's kind of mean to Joe. The second thing is that it's part of that I told you mechanism.
The deeper the analysis went, the clearer the pattern became. Obama's presidency, in Gutfeld's framing, was a movie trailer, slick, inspiring, perfectly edited. But when the full film played, audiences realized most of the good parts had already been in the preview. The substance never matched the hype. Obama's defenders continued to hail him as a master strategist, a man always 10 steps ahead. But Gutfeld compared those moves not to chess, but to checkers played by a toddler flipping pieces across the board.
Hell, way back when, even Obama had the stones to hit bin Laden. And remember who told him not to do it? Yep, Biden. Obama gave him a glass of milk and told him to sit down.
Obama's love of vision and symbolism often masked the lack of concrete solutions. He marketed inspiration, but the fine print always disappointed. And so, when Gutfeld delivered his takedown, it landed because it was both hilarious and uncomfortably true. Obama's legacy was not a flawless monument. It was a glossy billboard hiding an unfinished construction site. His presidency was more brand than policy, more performance than progress. And once that truth is pointed out, it's impossible to unsee. Comedy, after all, doesn't care about image, it cares about truth.
Another interesting tweet you had recently was fracking is weaning us off foreign oil. But who's counting? Not Obama.
Did I tweet that?
Yes, you
That
did.
doesn't sound like me.
You did.
There's no punchline?
I think not Obama was the punchline.
Oh, really? Yeah, I always look at fracking as a solution to a number of issues. Jobs, creates jobs, eases your dependence off of crazy people. That's good, and you have a lot of energy for the rest of your life. It's like, how could this be?
And in that truth lies the punchline. Barack Obama's legacy wasn't the unshakable masterpiece the media sold. It was a trailer for a film that never lived up to the hype, a performance where the applause drowned out the reality. And Greg Gutfeld, armed only with humor, tore that illusion apart, leaving behind the uncomfortable laughter of an audience that suddenly realized the cool professor wasn't quite what he seemed.
Obama's now a Republican.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions.
Kennedy, just watching that now, so that was 2011. Him and Trump are saying exactly the same thing, but he's not saying it as well. It's like he wasn't having fun with it.
But it's like, even the name of it, he was like, and we're going to call it the Cost-Cutting Commission because Joe Biden is going to be in charge and everyone knows.